What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of The Play Callers. Y'all know it's a Friday night, man. It's your boy Box, joined as always by my co-host, the one and the only.
Cool McCain.
And together we are
The
Play Callers. So, man, we've got a great show, as always, for y'all tonight. You know, we're going to hit the top stories from around the NFL, the NBA, college football. But we're also going to do something we don't normally do at all. We're going to talk a little bit of baseball because it's the World Series. So, we know we at least got to talk about that a little bit. Plus, my boys Braves are playing in the World Series. So, you know we got to talk about it a little bit. And we're also going to have some special guest on a little bit later to talk with us about that Steelers and Browns game. So man, we might as well go ahead and start off by you talking about your team, bro.
Well, we got to come with those picks later too, just so.
Yeah.
Always. And don't forget to use that chat so that you can tell us what you think, because that's why we're interactive.
That would be the key part.
Yes, sir. Well, man. I didn't want to touch too much on the World Series. You know, we're still early in it. We're at a 1-1 tie now.
I know you don't jinx anything.
The Braves were able to pull out a nice win in Game 1. They did lose one of their better players, the best pitcher, Charlie Morton, in that game. So that's broken legs. So he won't be back. So that's another injury piling up. We also, of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. is missing, as well as a few other pieces. So the Braves are still there. I still have opportunity. A lot of people that I've spoken with, talked to about the World Series, a lot of people believe that the Astros are going to win rather handily. So we'll see how that works out. But on the flip side, I did say it's 1-1. So Houston gets a lot of props for coming back in Game 2 and getting one of the two games at home. So the series will flip back to Atlanta. So Atlanta will be tasked with trying to get two games at home to put themselves in a situation to close out. So we'll see how that works out. Pitching does look to be a slight bit of an issue for the Braves, but I think depth-wise, they're going to be in a better place. But, you know, when you start using some of your star players, it can get a little dangerous for you, as we can see from a lot of NFL teams. But we'll see what the Braves are able to do, and we'll see if Houston's able to capitalize. But right now we're sitting again at 1-1. Both games were pretty handily blowouts in baseball terms, 5-1, 7-2, things like that. You get to those scores. That's pretty much a blowout when you talk about baseball. So both games were handily won by the team at 1, but Atlanta was able to sneak one out. In Houston, you always want to be able to try to sneak one out so you can give yourself that home field advantage if you don't start out with it. So that's pretty much our baseball talk right now. Of course, we'll be back next week with an update on how things have been moving since this week, but there you go. Little Play Callers baseball talk for y'all. You're welcome.
You're welcome. For all the people to say you guys never talk baseball, there you go. There's your what was that, about 2.5 minutes of worth of baseball? So there you go. See,
I feel like it was more like 3, but we can go with 2.5. We can go with 2.5.
I'm looking at the clock and say 3.5 minutes total that we've been live, and so I'm just saying,
it's more like 3.
No. So what other big stories have your attention this week, man? What's going on out there that you want to talk about?
Well, man, there's always things going on in the NBA, but we talk about the individual stories. I'd like to take a few minutes to just talk about the NBA as a whole right now.
Okay.
We have a lot of teams that people anticipated not being very good that have shown themselves to be pretty solid so far, right? I mean, we're early in the season, but you can't win if you don't start off winning. I always say that. You're not going to win. You're not going to go to the playoffs if you start off 0-10. That's not going to happen. So you got to win some games early on. Some teams have been set up with good schedules. Some teams have been able to play out of that, I'm the bottom team type thing. And some teams have done what they always do, like Orlando Magic. Shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out to the Charlotte Hornets. And there are other teams as well, but those are two teams that were, for the Grizzlies, a team that kind of slid into the playoffs. And the Hornets, a team that were pretty much there last year, but then injuries kind of dropped them. They've both started out, really strong, really solid. What up, Big E? But just want to shout out, that. And the fact that, myself, I believe you look at the schedule from the beginning. I believe you look at your standings from the beginning. And the reason I look at it that way is if you're never near the top, you can never get there. There are some teams that they don't look as strong right now that you expect them to bounce back. There are some teams that don't look that strong that you expect to bounce back. But what if they don't? So what if a team that you expect to be bad and you expect to fall back down, what if they never fall back down? That happened with Utah last year. Yep. Right? So there's always going to be some of those teams that you just don't expect. And I get excited sometimes with basketball because it's such a long season. It's a marathon. But you have like these little mini seasons. So you got like the first 10 or 15 games at the start of the season. That gives you a good idea who's really kind of going to be at least a problem and who's kind of just going to start flowing to the bottom. Then you get that next about 30 games. That's kind of where you see if you were right about that first 15 or so. Then that's where you start getting to where the more casual fans start tuning in once things have started falling into place. But it's that seeing it fall into place. That's kind of that piece that I love about basketball. And that's where we're at right now, man. So kind of excited that that's the place that we are now. We're seeing some new stars pop up. We're seeing some guys that normally play well, not playing as well now that there's been the rule change where you can't just sit out there and flop and jump into people and get fouls. Two people I personally like to name is going to be James Harden and Chris Paul. Those two guys are struggling a little bit more this year. It's fun to watch.
If I'm not mistaken, I know we don't talk a lot of stats on here, so I didn't look up the exact number. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe James Harden right now is only averaging about 17, 18 points a game.
We can check that. I know we're, like you said, we're not the stat guys, but we could definitely check that stat for Mr. Harden. I definitely know he's not playing as well as he normally has been. So far this season, he is averaging 16.6 points. He's shooting 35.9%, 7 rebounds, 8 assists.
So even lower than I was thinking he was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's amazing how when you don't get to go to the free throw 1,000 times a game because you're flopping all over the place. I mean, this is a guy who I don't even want to hear him cry about it because literally your flopping was so bad. You were getting so many calls you didn't deserve that dudes were literally guarding you with their hands behind their back just so they wouldn't get a foul call.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you were getting, right? And you kind of get to the point where it's like, look, that can no longer continue to happen. So kudos to the league as well for taking the stance and say, we got to get rid of this in basketball. I love that they did that, and I definitely respect them for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting rule change. It's going to be kind of fun to see how that goes this year. My hope is that what that's going to lead to over the course of the season is as adapt to that. It's going to get rid of all this whining and crying on the court, all this complaining to the refs, because, the flopping in and of itself is bad enough. And, I say that as a Lakers fan when we have the king of flopping on our team. So I get tired of seeing all the flopping, but I get even more tired of every time a guy gets touched, he's not even trying to continue playing basketball. He's got to stop and politic and cry to the referee instead of actually just continue to play. So hopefully we will get back to some real basketball this year and get rid of all this politicizing to the refs and everything else going on. That's my hope for basketball this year, man.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that at all.
And like you said, man, maybe we'll get some new superstars out of this, man. Maybe guys who actually have the skills but just don't really get opportunities because other guys are taking like 17,000 shots a game. Maybe those guys will start to get more opportunities and they can showcase their skills.
One of the things I've been interested in is Zion Williamson, right? Because he's the guy that a lot of people came out and they were like, oh, Zion's going to be the next guy. He's that guy. And a lot of people were also saying, don't sleep on Ja Morant.
Yeah.
So as we look a couple of years later, I mean, I'm going to have to say the Ja Morant camp has been right so far. Ja Morant is looking like a superstar, man. He's budding into a superstar in front of our eyes. And not just because of what he's done at the beginning of this season, but what he did all last season as well. And, the fact that he's still ascending as a player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at Zion, man, he's what I always talk about, potential off the charts. If you're New Orleans, you didn't make the wrong pick by picking him, but injuries. Now he has a foot that's not healing properly. That's keeping him out. He's looking a lot huskier than he was before. And you kind of want a guy that is injury prone and a larger guy to kind of try to stay on the lean side of being the big guy that he is and not the big side. So it's concerning just to see if he's going to be able to get the weight thing together, get his foot together, and see if we can see the Zion Williams that we anticipated from his year at Duke. I do hope that he has a good career. I'm not one of those guys that doesn't want a guy that has all the talent in the world or all the potential in the world to miss out on it because of petty things like where he went to school. And I'm not that guy. But he's one of those talents that you want to see do well just because you want to see what the best version of Zion Williamson is. But the injuries and the weight are definitely concerns. And this is early in his career. As you get older, you get hurt more. You look at it now, you even got guys like LeBron who never get hurt getting hurt. So now when you start to see that and you see a guy young that's already having that issue, you kind of like, So Memphis may have won everything in the end just by having the number 2 pick and not feeling like you had to take the guy with the huge P because that was the only thing that really made sense. So that's something I've been watching and I'm going to be paying attention to for the next few years as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make some really good points there. I mean, obviously, there are going to be people out there that probably want to see Zion fail. I'm also not one of those people. You don't want to really see anybody fail. You want to see people be successful. But at the same time, even outside of the injuries, even outside of what he does on the court, you're talking about a guy who allowed himself to show up out of shape. It seems as though when he is injured, his injuries always last longer than what they should. And you always have to kind of start to question, why is that happening? Is it just bad genetics? Is it just bad luck on his part? Is it something that the medical or training staff is doing wrong? Is it him not fully investing into his rehab? That's a big question mark with him. And if this is going to continue to be an issue throughout his career, then it's going to get easier every year to say that Memphis definitely won that scenario.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, after a really good weekend in college football, we're starting to see, what should I say, how things may be falling, right? So we look at the college football rankings, the Associated Press, to the top 25, and you see Georgia's still number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they should
7-0. Cincinnati's number 2, 7-0.
Yep.
Alabama's slid up to number 3, 7-1. Oklahoma's number 4, 8-0. Ohio State's 5, 6-1. Michigan is 6, is 7-0. And I'll tell you why I don't have a problem with Ohio State being above Michigan. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
We haven't seen Ohio State lose to Michigan in a long time. So if you're voting, you're thinking to yourself, Ohio State's going to beat Michigan in a head-to-head matchup. They always do. So why would we rank Michigan over Ohio State until they can show us that they're better or Ohio State loses the second game? So I don't have a problem with that. Oregon is 6-1 and 7th. Michigan State is 8th at 7-0. Iowa is 9th at 6-1. And Ole Miss is 10th at 6-1. So just to look at that top 10, something I always like to take a look at with this, and you know exactly the reason why, sir.
Mm-hmm. I do. But you want to go ahead and share it with people, though?
Well, sure. So I have a theory. My co-host shares this theory with me to an extent that it's the rest of the college football playoffs and then Alabama. So when I saw Alabama lose and they slid down, had a lot of people, calling me, messaging me saying, hey, man, so what's up, man? Alabama lost. They sliding down. You say they don't ever slide down. Didn't say that. I said they always end up where they need to be. What you want to pay attention to is the only team in the top 4 that has a loss. It's Alabama.
Yep.
Right? So if you're the number 3 team in the country right now, at 7-1, you're above an 8-0 team in Oklahoma. They're still in the top 4 as well, but pay attention. So you're telling me that the people who vote value a 1-loss Alabama team in the SEC versus a no-loss 8-0 team in Oklahoma. This says a lot. That's very interesting. Those are the things that you watch, because when everything hits the fan at the end of the year, when the first rankings come out showing the top 4 for the playoffs, you're going to see. It's going to maybe not exactly mirror what we're seeing here, but it's going to be close. So pay attention for those of you who don't believe it's Alabama and then the rest of us.
And here's the interesting aspect of this, right? Alabama didn't just lose a game. They lost a game to an unranked team. Somebody else recently just lost a game to an unranked team who was number 2 in the country when they lost. Are they still in the top 4? Are they still even sniffing at the top 4? No. No, they are not.
Would you like to tell our viewers who that would be, sir?
That would be Iowa, sir.
Yes, sir. And as you notice, they are number 9, just barely hanging in the top 10.
Yeah, barely even the top 10. Forget the top 4. Now, I will say this. I don't necessarily have an issue with you putting Alabama above Oklahoma, because Oklahoma has had some very close games against non-ranked teams and teams that they should have easily beaten. I almost actually have more of a problem with the fact that you actually have Oklahoma above Ohio State and Michigan at this point, to be honest with you. I don't even think Oklahoma should be in the top 4. But I will say this in regards to Oklahoma. I did hear some commentary this week that suggested that Cincinnati should actually drop in the rankings because they barely beat Navy, an unranked team. So a couple things there. So number one, you do have to at least admit to the fact that playing against a triple option team in the middle of the season with a week to prepare is a tough ask. But outside of that, are we really going to hold Cincinnati to a higher standard than we hold Oklahoma? Because Oklahoma, as I just mentioned, has had several close calls against unranked teams. Are we really going to hold a non-Power 5 team to a higher standard than we're holding Oklahoma?
Well, we know what's beginning to happen, in my opinion, with Oklahoma. I'll tell you my thoughts on that. I'll be real quick. We know what's going to happen to them in a few years where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to get a little bit of that rub, as you call it, like for wrestling. For those of you who watch wrestling, you get a little bit of a rub. When you start to get around certain people, you start to look a little bit better. You start to shine a little bit more. So you're starting to see a little bit of that slide in, to Oklahoma. Yep. So that's kind of where I think Oklahoma's going. So we've got a couple of guys going to be hopping on here with a few minutes. But I'm doing a little different today. I have an audible to call, but I have an audible to call on the public as a whole. Well, specific groups of the public, I'm going to say. Okay. So I said, about a year and a half ago on this very show, as soon as the Washington football team changed their name from the Redskins to whatever they're going to become next year, I said on this show, this was not a one-off. This was going to be a trickle effect that's going to start affecting everyone. So what do we have now? People don't want the bullpen to be called the bullpen. The Cleveland Indians are trying to change themselves to the Cleveland Guardians, but they're being blocked because there's already a Cleveland Guardians. Right? The Braves are being asked, or people are campaigning for the Braves to not use the tomahawk chop in the playoffs for the fans. This isn't all. This is only a piece. What I want you guys to understand and everybody to realize, it's not going to stop here. My co-host, Florida State Seminoles fan. Sooner or later, they're going to come for them. Doesn't matter if the Seminoles are fine with it. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
They're going to come for everybody. So that's the thing. And they're guarding no one, Eric. They're guarding the couch at home. That's who Cleveland's guarding, sir. But they're going to continue to keep doing this, man. And the reason that they're going to continue to keep doing this, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, is because the more you give, the more they take. It's a trickle effect. It's not a, we got what we want, we good now. It's a, we want more. Now we don't want the bullpen to be the bullpen. Really?
Yeah.
There's so many things. There's so many groups now are going to be advocating against. And the reason for that is we opened the floodgates. When the gates were closed, it was just rumblings under the surface. Every once in a while, somebody would speak out. Now we're starting to have it come to fruition, and you're going to continue to see more and more. So like I said then, if you are a fan of a team that's not an animal, some type of natural disaster, or something like that, if it's any type of nickname for any group that any person could feel like is misconstrued, or any nickname but not a real name, you got to watch. Why? Because we've opened the gates and allowed people who are super sensitive about everything to feel like they now have the voice to say, this is what's going to happen.
Oh, I have news for you, sir. Your college football team is not going to be excluded from this, because I'm just waiting for someone to come out and say that they're calling yourself the Hurricanes is insensitive to people who have trauma based on hurricanes.
Yeah, but before they get to that, they've got to go through and get all the nicknames, all the sly names for groups of people or animals, anyone who could be offended. They got to take care of that first.
Oh, yeah. And look, I said when we brought this topic up last year, I said at some point they're going to come after my nose. Yeah. And they're trying to do it slick, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to go after the Braves right now because the Braves are in the spotlight. Well, where do you think the Braves stole the tomahawk chop from? They stole it from Florida State.
Florida State fans say that. By the way, there's no facts for that. Florida State fans say that.
Well, considering that they didn't actually start doing it until Dion came to the Braves. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's no truth for that.
That's absolute truth. That is
that's
absolute
the Florida
truth.
State fans' belief.
Look it up. Look it up for yourselves.
I'll just simply say this. I lived in Atlanta before Dion got there, and people were doing the tomahawk chop before Dion got there. So I'm just gonna put that out there because it needs to be said.
Well, I don't think that's a factual statement, but we'll leave it at that for the time being. So what I'm going to tell you is that they're going to be slick with it. They're not going after Florida State using a Seminole name right now, but they're going to start going after some of the traditions, because that's what they do. They open up the door. They find some little way to put their foot in the door on something. And then once they get their foot in the door, like you said, as soon as they get one small concession, it doesn't stop. It just builds. And I'm not saying that we should never make concessions for people, because, you and I both have had conversations, both on this show and in private, in regards to racial inequalities, gender inequalities, things like that, and how, there's certain things that have needed to be changed to create opportunities for people. But at the same time, there's always that question of what's enough? How much change do we actually need? Because there's a fine line between doing things that creates opportunities for people and changing things just because people are sensitive. There's a difference.
So true. So very true.
So yeah. So real quickly, while we're waiting on our second guest to show up, I will also give you an audible this week. And my audible is actually on someone who's on my 49ers. And that is Josh Norman. Josh Norman this week came out and said that the reason that we're leading the entire league in defensive pass interference is because the rules favor the offense now. And it's an advantage for the wide receivers. Josh Norman, I'm going to simply say this. We all know that the rules favor the offense. No one is disagreeing with you on that. But here's a newsflash. There are 32 NFL teams. Only you, primarily you on our secondary, and the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary seem to be having trouble grasping how to actually deal with the rule changes. The other 30 teams are doing just fine. So maybe stop making excuses about rules and go out and actually learn to cover. And if you can't learn to cover, then go to the coaching staff and ask to be replaced and give your money back and apologize for wasting all of our time. Get off my team, sir. Get off my freaking team.
We all know that's not going to happen, but hey, it is what it is, right?
Right. All right, so you want to go ahead and bring our guest on, man? I'm going to let you do the wrestling introductions today.
Oh, we ain't even doing the wrestling introductions today, man.
I want to give you a chance, man. I want to give you a chance, man. You know,
we got to keep it fresh, man. We got to keep it fresh. So first, we're going to bring on our Pittsburgh Steelers representative. Goes by the name of Zach Freeman. Go ahead and drop him on the screen here, sir. That's all we doing.
What's going on, man?
Real funky and simple.
What's going on, people? How you doing? It's been an honor being on the show. I've been watching y'all's show since y'all started here and there. I wish I could talk to you, and now my wish is granted. So,
well, happy we could oblige you, sir. Happy we could oblige you.
See, that man got on his paraphernalia and everything. He ready to go.
You ready, man? You ready to represent?
Okay. And also, we're going to be bringing on our Cleveland Browns fan here, Big Cliff Betts. Ready to bring the pain.
What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. So, fellas, I mean, there's no need to wait. We might as well get into why y'all here. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Yeah, you already
know.
Cliff,
tell me, or tell everyone, I should say, what can the Cleveland Browns do to win this game on Sunday?
Do what they always do. The thing that makes them what has made them a good football team has been running the ball, and that's what they need to get back to doing. I really think they probably are going to get back to running the ball on Sunday. Chubb's returning. It looks like he's ready to go, almost close to 100%. We might be unleashing Dearness a lot more on Sunday, so I'm happy. And the offensive line is fully healthy again, so we should be ready to go Sunday.
Now, I will say this. I was having an issue with running backs last week. I had a lot of running backs on buying on my leagues because, you try to get the same people so you don't have to pay as much attention. So I slid in every league and picked up Dearness Johnson. And, bruh, I appreciate that man for last week. Real talk.
He's something special.
Definitely looked out for me in some leagues where I was like, oh, boy, I'm about to be in trouble. So Zach,
saved a lot of fantasy games.
Yes, sir. Zach, same question. What can the Pittsburgh Steelers do to win this game on Sunday?
I mean, when it comes to us, defense is always our number one. So, I got to say, if we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to be okay. We number 3 right now. I don't intend for us to go anywhere. At the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for. But my biggest concern is the offense. If our offense does not click in, and when I mean offense, I'm going to say one man. I have a great confidence ordeal when it comes to, Najee Harris. Johnson is great. Juju Smith, hey, Schuster, he's going to be Schuster. But at the end of the day, that's not who I'm leaning on. I'm praying that somebody gives some special powers to Ben Roethlisberger. If we do not have that on Sunday, in milk, in the cleats, I don't know if we need something. If this man is not on track, man, the season's going to continue to go downhill. We're 3-3, and it's not a good 3-3.
That's fair.
Well, Zach, I'm happy to continue my tradition that I've been on for a few weeks now of offering you Jimmy Garoppolo. So if you're going to take him,
you know what? I would take him right now. I mean, his potential is still rising. He's still learning. He's growing. Let's just be honest, man. Compared to San Francisco, And Pittsburgh's offense, I mean, it's really a good tie. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You know what I mean? Good amount of weapons. The only thing is missing is the key of the puzzle, baby, and that's Roethlisberger and Garoppolo. So you switch them, please give them to me. We need something. You know?
Hey man, send the pics, man. Let's do it.
We're talking about benching Roethlisberger this way. Can you believe? I mean, like I can believe it, but I'm saying like, why now? You all of a sudden you're 3-3 now. You want to bench him? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, do something. Do something else, man. Like we supposed to be on this level of getting rid of him for years. But as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, that's my honest opinion. I feel like the offense had so much potential. It's not even funny. But again, you need a key to unlock the gate.
So Zach, I know one of the concerns of a lot of Steelers fans coming into the season was the offensive line. How do you feel about your offensive line going against that very good Cleveland defense?
Absolutely. And that's a good question. Again, when it comes to the offensive line, man, everybody's not been healthy. Okay, we do have a bunch of young guys. We still have some veterans on there, but at the end of the day, that's how we learn. I mean, the thing about a team is what makes a great team is you actually give them space to mess up. You see what I'm saying? Tom Brady, when he was with the Buccaneers, I mean, come on, let's be honest. His first couple games was rocky, but the offensive line still had to be in tune. They still, got in rhythm with him and said, hey, this is what it is. That's why they won the Super Bowl. It's got to be the same with the Steelers. And I'm going to be honest, again, the offensive line, I have confidence. If we work out, our scheme, if we block the way we're supposed to, watch paint, all kind of stuff, I think we'll be okay. The defense is, it's Cleveland's tough. You know what I mean? Cleveland's tough. But, I'm not worried about the line itself. It's about what's behind the line. Even Najee Harris, he's doing pretty decently, with the line that he has. Not the best, but decently, especially as a rookie. So, but I absolutely agree. If the offensive line doesn't step up, we'll have problems. But the biggest guy is behind them. You know what I'm saying? I've got to blame it on him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Cliff, on the opposite side of that, how are you feeling about your defense going against that offense?
Feeling pretty confident. 7 has been starting to play a lot better week to week. Only question mark I got is my secondary. I don't trust them going into any game. No matter if we full health or not, I just don't trust that secondary. I think we have to stopping teams on third down. We are one of the worst teams in the league on third down. We give them up all the time. And if we do that, we're going to allow Pittsburgh to hang down in the game. And as a Browns fan, we don't want that because we know Ben, even though he's struggling, we the Browns, he can figure it out versus us.
Now, Cliff, as far as your offense goes, from what I've been reading, what I've been hearing, you're going to get Baker back this week. So do you feel like that offense, because let's be real, there's some weapons in the wide receiver positions, and especially tight end. You got 2 quality starting tight ends on that team. Do you feel like Baker Mayfield is going to be able to, against this Steelers defense, make some plays and win this game? Because he's going to need to. And are you concerned at all that he's getting back out there with that shoulder injury so soon?
I'm not really concerned about the shoulder injury that much. I figured once we sat him versus Denver, it was a whole goal that he was going to play on Sunday versus Pittsburgh. I think he's at a position. They said reports say his arm got a little more strength in it now, so he's actually healing a little bit better than they thought. I feel like he's fine in that department. He just needs to protect himself more. And what I mean by that is I want him to stop running around as much. And if he does run around, he needs to slide. Baker's been taking a couple of unnecessary hits. And like against Arizona when he got hurt, that kind of was unnecessary. He fumbled reaching for the ball as he falling down. He hurt himself. I think he just needs to start protecting himself more. And that means throwing the ball away. He don't need to take hits right now. And if we can do that, protect him, he's going to find things in that passing game. Because I heard the Steelers secondary isn't that good. So it's things out there that we can have. And Joku's been playing a lot better lately. So that's the big key for us. And I think we still should be working in Austin Hooper this week. So if he can find holes in that offense, in that secondary, I think he's going to be fine. He's going to have a big day.
So, based on how big Zach's eyes just got, I think he might have a little bit of rebuttal about that secondary comment.
I just want to say one thing real quick before he says that. David Njoku.
To you.
That's all. That's all.
To you.
Man, the Heat. But first, I mean, I really do want to say this, like, as a true football fan, I do agree with you. You know, the secondary is not, you know, spectacular. They're not the, you know, not the quickest. They're not the fastest. Deep throws kill us. All right, wait, deep downfield. I mean, it's like we panic if it goes sky high, you know, and it's like a 50-50 after that. But when I tell you, our number 3 defense is no joke. I mean, that's honestly why that 3, that 3 is the only 3 I'm worried about. You know what I mean? That's honestly why we're 3-3. It's the defense. You know, I'm not worried about the backers. We straight, you know, when it comes to Devin. But even Terrell Edmonds, I mean, we're pretty much good there. The short throws are pretty much taken away. And that's honestly when it comes to Baker, you know, his strength is in his legs and, you know, pretty much mid-range. So at the end of the day, yeah, I absolutely agree. The Joku is a threat. Do I feel like we got to contain? Of course, you know. Yeah, exactly. He is definitely a threat. That yeah. You know what I mean? You know, I can't blame him.
It's not just the you. It's tight end.
Tight end you.
Yeah. Just remind everyone, in case they forgot.
Literally, the only thing Miami Heat's had to cheer for right now.
Not the Florida State fan coming with that.
Oh,
wow.
Oh.
Hey, we got a winning streak. What about y'all?
We won against a ranked team last week. What about y'all all season?
We beat a ranked team. Beat North Carolina.
A real ranked team.
Did you beat them?
I don't recall at the moment. I'd have to go check.
I don't recall.
Man, absolutely. It's gonna be a fun game.
My bad.
Yeah, definitely be a fun game.
Every year we're favored to take the Browns, and honestly, you know, the Browns either they shock us. So, but I feel like, again, like I said, when it comes to defense, I feel like we got confidence. Offense, man, hey, best of luck. May the best man win.
Yes,
so Cliff, I got a question for you, man, because you kind of hit on this a little bit when you were answering one of the questions earlier. You know, the Browns have a long history of just bad things happening as a franchise. And it seemed like last year that maybe at least the team was starting to kind of get past that a little bit. They were starting to get a little bit of confidence. What's the feeling in general? Like, are Cleveland fans feeling more confident? Do you still feel like the other shoe's about to drop and it's about to be the Browns again? Like, what's kind of the general feeling?
I would, if I could put it on a percentage, I would say 80-20. Like 80% we're confident. We really don't think this team is a bad team. We don't think the bottom's gonna fall out of it. We just we more worried about internally. We got to figure it out internally. It's not about anybody else outside of who we face. It's really what we do. And if we don't do what we do best, it's just that's when we come into problems. In the past few weeks, we've been getting pass happy. Last week, we starting to reel it back in and get back to smash mouth football. We starting to let people know that when you come play the Browns again, we're going to be playing for 60 minutes now, not just 30, 20, getting a whole game from the Browns now.
Yeah.
Boy,
Okay.
I remember days when we used to have that. Feels so long ago. Then we got Nick Sirianni.
Hey man, good news, man. Y'all can go get Deshaun Jackson back, man. Apparently him and Lorenzo agreed to trade him.
So you mean you say he going to somewhere else?
He might come back to Philly, man.
Nah, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. He said he likes San Francisco.
Oh.
I mean,
because he's from LA. Yeah, LA
look,
boy. He likes.
Look, if you want to come somewhere else, we're not gonna get the ball thrown to him. That's on him.
That's what would be happening in Philadelphia too.
I mean, y'all ain't running the ball, so he might catch some balls.
But how you gonna catch the ball if you hurt? As soon as he get in the facility, he'll be hurt.
Yeah, he don't.
He'll walk in, catch a ball, and get hurt.
That's D-Jax now. Okay.
Horrible.
Sometimes you gotta let it know. You gotta realize when it's over, bro. It's just it's over, bro.
So speaking of wide receivers and knowing when it's over, Cliff, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Odell. There are lots of rumors about him maybe not being in Cleveland much longer.
I wanted to work. I feel like it can work. It's just we aren't doing what it needs to work. Like for some reason, what I've noticed in the past few years with Odell, it's been multiple coaching staffs now. They all treat him the same way, like he's an outside only wide receiver. And I think that's the Browns' problem, why they can't figure it out with him, because him and Jarvis Landry are very similar. They run a route similar. They almost the exact same wide receiver. He's slightly more explosive. Yeah. We don't run Odell in between the hashes or in the middle. We keep him on the outside and we run him 15, 20 yards deep down the field. And I think if they decide we run him in between, you'll see a totally different Odell Beckham with the Browns. You'll see the Odell with New York that you will see. It's just we aren't doing it. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but he's stuck on the outside in Cleveland.
And we'll talk. I've noticed that. I've actually noticed that. As being, a fan of another NFC East team, I remember what he did when he was in New York, and they moved him around a lot. He knew all the routes for all the route trees. But like you said, in Cleveland, it's like they want to give a certain percent of looks to him, and they only want him to line up in certain positions, and that takes away from a guy who has versatility as a receiver, and he definitely has that. So you want to use that, And
this year, we only start moving him inside a few times this year. I've seen it a couple times in the past few weeks, but still, he's not running the routes he needs to run. It's no quick slant. It's no drag. It's no little 3-4 yard outs where you just get him the ball and let him work. It's more they trying to just drive it down the field.
Yeah, no digs, no crossing routes.
Yeah.
I can relate to that as well. I don't see a lot of those going on in Philadelphia either.
I think that's key in the pass. In passing offense, that's really key because you got athletes out here in these wide receiver positions. Sometimes they just need the ball. Just get them the ball and they can go.
Just get them the ball,
Some of these cats just need the ball handed off to them because they can't catch. But that's
yeah, you got a few like that.
Hey, look what Cordell Patterson's doing in Atlanta at the running back position.
Yeah,
he shouldn't have went cutting his wide receiver.
But hey, whenever you can get the yards, then you can find what's right. What I like about that situation is they found the guy and they said, we're going to take what he can do and we're going to build something that works around him. Right? So Nick Sirianni, you need to be paying attention to this. You actually take the talent that you have and you make an offense that works for that. Right? You don't say, this is the offense I want to run. I don't care if I had the players for it or not. That's not what you do. It doesn't work.
Listen, I've told you before, man, if you want Nick Sirianni to change his play calling, all you have to do is message him on Twitter, challenge him to a game of rock, paper, scissors, and beat him, and he'll do whatever you ask. That's all you got to do, man.
That's until Howie tells him that he can't do it. Then he won't.
Well, you better challenge Howie to some rock, paper, scissors then, I guess.
Howie probably doesn't play rock, paper, scissors. I can't say what Howie plays because we're a wholesome show.
Gonna keep it PC, man. Gonna keep it PC.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Before we jump into going through all of our picks for the week, man, did y'all have any final points that you want to make for your game? Give you about 30 seconds each.
Well, go ahead, Cliff. Go ahead, man.
That's all I was gonna say. Just we need to play Browns football. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do agree. You know what I mean? When it comes to us, same thing. Play Pittsburgh defense. It's always going to be there. That's our motto. That's our tradition. That's the only thing I'm really looking for. At the end of the day, if our offense doesn't click, it's going to be a rough game. But other than that, I mean, we should be fine. It's not going to be a blowout. It'll be some competition. But again, that's what I'm looking for to click.
So it sounds like both you guys are looking for a a lot of runs on offense, a lot of physical football,
Absolutely.
some good defense. So if you like slugfest, sounds like it might be a game you might enjoy.
Yeah,
That's that AFC North football, huh?
Yeah,
Yep.
Ground and pound style.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, ice tub football.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna have you guys stick around for a few minutes as we go through the picks for the week here. Go ahead and have y'all pick with us.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Before we jump into the actual upcoming picks, I do want to get everybody's thoughts real quick, man. We just had last night the Packers versus the Cardinals, and the Cardinals actually lost their first game of the season. So, do you feel that the Packers are in fact the best team in the NFC?
It's a tough statement. I mean,
no.
Look, I felt that before you came out, man. I mean, I don't feel like they're the best, but I do feel like they are probably the most, probable team to win against any other team in the division. I'm just being honest with you.
Well, Cliff.
I think they're one of the best in the NFC. I still think Arizona is Arizona. Can't rule out Tampa. Even though Tampa's struggling on defense, Tampa's the one that I feel is a real sleeping giant. And they might when they click, it might be bad. But I feel Green Bay can match up versus anybody in this league. They can play whatever type of football game you want to play. They up there.
I'm just glad that neither one of y'all said Dallas. So appreciate that.
Dallas.
My whole thing with I gotta say real quick, my whole thing with Green Bay is you are one of the best teams. I completely agree with what Cliff is saying, but you're not the best because you did beat the team last night. AJ Green beat that team last night. Why are you blocking with 20 seconds left in the game? Why are you blocking and not turning around and running your route? That's unacceptable, dude.
Yeah,
That's what blew the game for them. Arizona did everything, and Arizona did not play well. So let's get that straight.
No.
Arizona did not play well, and they still had a chance to win the game if AJ Green actually runs a route instead of trying to block in the back of the end zone.
Right.
So, no, I don't think they're the best team for that. But I will give them props because another guy that we should have got rid of, Russell Douglas, goes out there and makes a great play for another team. Way to go, Howie.
It always comes back to the Eagles. All right, so going through the picks for this week, starting off with the Bengals at the Jets. I'm gonna go Bengals.
Bengals.
Yes, Bengals.
Cincinnati.
The Titans at the Colts.
Titans.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Titans.
Tighten up, baby.
Right.
The Rams at the Texans.
Rams.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And a game that I think you guys might have a little stake in. Steelers at the Browns.
You already know, man. No answer. No.
I mean, every now and then, man, somebody, goes crazy and, pick something different.
Right.
So, we at least want to ask.
Absolutely. You know what I mean?
I'm going to go Cleveland.
Yep. I'm going with the guy under me. I'm going Cleveland.
You know what I'm saying?
Close game, but I'm going Cleveland.
Definitely close.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be no blowout. It's gonna be one of them old school physical games.
Like 15-12
And-
with like 7
and
people.
And to be honest with you, the only reason I'm actually picking Cleveland is because I have zero faith in Ben Roethlisberger. Zero. That's the only reason.
Well, I saw Nick Chubb. I saw a Nick Chubbless backfield last week snap. So I imagine you add Nick Chubb with Dearness Johnson and what them two can do together back there, bro. I think they can pull it out. I think they can run the ball and keep them off the field enough to make the right plays. Billy V, what's going on, man? Billy V is going to Pittsburgh, so you ain't by yourself, Zach.
Well, I'm glad that Billy V popped in the comments because our next matchup is the Eagles at the Lions.
Do I even need to say what I'm going with? Do I even need to say?
Whew.
The question I want to ask you, Cool, is can Nick Sirianni actually call a bad enough game to lose to the Lions?
He can. He can.
I believe it
He
too.
can.
I believe
But
it.
please don't lose this game. We got to be somebody. Please.
Listen, I agree with you. He can, but I'm also going to take it a step further. He will. The Lions are actually going to get their first win this week.
Yeah, me too. I agree. DeAndre
I'm not
Swift.
even bad at y'all, bro. I'm not even bad. Wow.
I'm gonna take Philly in a close one. I'm gonna give Jalen Hurts one last chance to actually play good for me.
See, man, y'all got to realize he's in a bad situation, bro.
He
They don't
is.
run the
That's why
ball.
I'm giving you chances.
They don't run the ball. You got to give a young quarterback a running game.
Yeah. It's like you
Billy's
back at
taking
Oklahoma.
Philly.
Yeah, but,
The Lions fan is picking Philly.
hey, man.
Oh,
He
wow.
over there feeling like me, man. I'm over here like, please just win, please. You know what I'm saying?
I think the Lions are close, man. They've had a couple of real close ones. I think they're gonna get one at some
Really
point.
close.
Yeah.
All right, the game that I'm gonna be watching, the 49ers at the Bears. I mean, I'm gonna take my Niners, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I'm nervous.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bears on this one, man. I'm sorry.
I understand, man.
I'm going
Totally
49.
understand.
I'm going
That's
49.
man. So I just want to let y'all know off the show, right? My co-host was like, don't cheer for the 49ers, man. I want you to pick my team. So you mean to tell me you want me to pick the Chicago Bears to win a game?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I'm not doing that. San Francisco. No, we're not doing that.
And actually, what I said was, I think you're trying to put bad juju on my team by saying we're gonna win. That's what I actually said. My co-host likes to dabble in reverse psychology, so
No, I don't. There's no reverse psychology. If I think that San Francisco loses, I pick against them. I don't see how they lose to the Bears.
This is the dude. Every time in fantasy football, he be down like a good bit, like in the first quarter of the very first set of games. Be over there talking about something. Oh, I'm gonna get blown out. I'm gonna get beat. This always happens to me. I had the first week, and then by like halftime, he's winning.
It doesn't always happen.
But he doesn't dabble in reverse psychology at all, though.
Like 1 out of 5 times that happens. Most of the time, I still get crushed. So he likes to highlight that 1 out of 5 times, like it's every time, 20% chance.
So Billy said he actually thinks that the Lions are going to get the first win against the Browns.
Think they'll beat the Browns? It's a possibility.
I won't be picking them that week.
It's just a possibility.
But no, the Lions have been playing close. So they're a team that hasn't won, but they play close. So it's not like they're out there getting blown out. So you always, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna get one here eventually.
Just don't let it be this week.
We got the Panthers at the Falcons.
Going with the Panthers.
Me Atlanta.
Yeah, Panthers. I think I'm gonna go Panthers.
I'm actually gonna go Falcons.
Yeah, I'm Atlanta.
Y'all could be right too. That's what stinks.
Cliff, Tyler said, "What's up to you in the chat?"
This is like straight 50-50. Like, this is like right on the line, bro. But I must lean a little bit toward the Panthers.
Okay.
Probably because I live in Charlotte, but
yeah, it's a pickle.
I thought you might let some of that Braves magic rub off on them for a week or something, maybe. You know.
You still talking about the Braves? What I tell you about that, man?
All right, got the Dolphins at the Bills. I'm going Bills.
Bills. Dolphins or Colts? I need y'all to be bad. Just keep being bad.
The Patriots at the Chargers.
I didn't look over these at all this week because I wanted everything to just hit me and just give what I felt like was coming. I'm going Chargers.
I'm gonna go Pats.
Yeah, I'm with Z. I'm going Pats.
I'm a little torn on this one, but I'm also going to go Pats.
Love the island. Tropical Island. Let's go.
The Jaguars at the Seahawks.
Yep, Birds.
Yeah, I'm taking Jags.
I I get the same amount of confidence right now Seattle win this game as I have us beating the Bears. Meaning that it's a possibility and it might happen, but you know what, the Jags are just that bad. I'm going to go Seattle.
That's the thing, man. It's not like I'm really impressed with anything Seattle does without Russell Wilson, but they're playing the Jags. Urban Meyer might be right now doing something he should not be doing instead of training his team. So I gotta pick against them.
If they were playing anyone outside of Houston and Jacksonville, I'm picking against Seattle right now. But against those two teams,
I agree. And the Jets. Don't get the Jets.
Gino, I can't trade Gino.
Tyler, you are absolutely correct. Gino can lose any game.
He can, Tyler. But really, Tyler, if you just hand the ball to the running backs, you should be able to win this game.
But the question is, who is better at losing at the NFL level? Urban Meyer or Gino? That's the question.
Gino.
That might be a lot tighter than we thinking, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I wasn't expecting a wide margin of
That's real tight. That's what we call it in Atlanta, because I spent a lot of time in Atlanta. That's what we call Nad booty tight.
That's Nad booty tight right there.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Got the football team at the Broncos.
Football team, baby.
Yeah, football team.
Broncos.
I'm also going Broncos.
I'm going Broncos.
It's tough.
I just want to highlight real quick. Tyler Ingram says that Gino should be on the Seattle Dragons XFL team.
I agree.
I love the Dragons tie-in, Tyler. Good job, sir. Good job.
They would be losing then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
The Bucks at the Saints.
That's a good question. Great.
I gotta go Bucks.
I'm Tampa with this one.
Tampa.
Yeah, I gotta go Bucks. Tampa.
I'm going on the island. I'm going Saints.
Woo!
Now, I will say this.
Upset.
I will say this. The Saints are going to get back Mark Ingram. So you're going to have that two-headed monster again. And, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. So that may be a good thing. But I still feel like Tommy T and the boys should make it happen.
Yeah, I'm not predicting a spanking or anything here. I just think that they can pull it off.
Hey, man. I've been on the island today. I feel you.
All right, we got the Cowboys at the Vikings.
Hate this. Yeah, I'm going with them boys.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Dallas.
I hate it too. It hurts because I got what I got on, but boys, bro.
Oh, I hate them just as much as you do.
Man.
Dallas.
I want to say that Minnesota can win just off of the strength of their running game, but their defense is so suspect, man. I'm going to go Dallas.
Which defense going to show up?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to have to go Dallas.
And Billy V over in the comments, he's picking the football team to win, and he said he lost all confidence in Denver last week.
I can't believe it.
I lost all confidence in Denver long before. That 3-0 was false.
Yeah, I lost confidence in Denver when they were 3-0. So
that 3-0 was false.
I mean, the thing is, I just don't have confidence in Washington either, though.
That's very true. That's why I picked what I did, but it was the best of the worst. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion.
I mean, we could do like a separate pick at the end of the show tonight on which matchup is actually the worst to try to pick from. That's how close some of these are, because it's just like bad teams on top of bad teams.
On top of more bad
week, honestly.
There's literally like 3 games possibly that are even worth watching this week. Totally.
And one of them already was played. That's the worst part.
Yeah, one of them was already played. You got like 2 games this weekend. You're just hoping it's going to be on TV, or are you outside of your own game? You're like, there's maybe 1 or 2 other games to watch. That's it.
I know my game ain't gonna be on TV. I know that.
All right, Monday Night Football. We got the Giants at the Chiefs.
I would have said Chiefs. I would have said Chiefs before Sunday.
Right.
I'm still gonna say Chiefs.
It is crazy that everybody had to stop and pause and think on this one for a second, though.
Right.
I'm really just was thinking on how the Giants got a Monday Night Football game. That's what puzzled me. But yeah, I think Chiefs might get back on track this week.
You know, Cliff, I think that's a better question than who's going to win this game.
Absolutely.
I think that's a better question.
Right.
Who you taking, Zach?
Taking Chiefs, man. If Patrick Mahomes can get right, I don't know what happened getting down on that knee. Probably messed it up. I don't know, but he's getting married, so his head is not in the football state of mind. Maybe he's in love. I don't know. Maybe kisses the football before the game. Maybe he calls the girlfriend. I don't know, but whatever he's doing, stop it. That's all I know.
I think there is a blueprint, and people have figured out how to slow him down, and he has not yet figured out how to adjust to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. That's a great statement. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
And if they were playing a real team this week, I would definitely pick against them.
Thank you.
But the Giants, look, we had a guest on last week who told us the Giants are that team, they're going to lose just enough games to get out of contention, and then they're going to win just enough games to get out of a good draft pick. So at some point, I do expect the Giants to actually go on a bit of a run. I just don't think it's going to start this week.
I think it was going to be lucky for the Giants. It's about to be a lot of bad teams this year. They're going to be tied with like 3 or 4 other teams with the same record.
Well, they got a weak stretch in their schedule coming up that I think they can win some games in.
Yeah, I see a couple wins coming.
Yeah, being that
no more than 5 wins this season, though.
They might get to 6. They might get to 6, man. They might get to 6.
Yeah.
All right. Next Thursday night. I know all of you gonna tune in to watch this one. The Jets at the Colts. Do they want people to watch Thursday night football or not? I mean,
all I want to say real quick is this. I do another show, Sip Off, right? We normally on Thursdays, but we're going to be on 8:15 tonight because of the momentous game that was on, right? But I think I'm pretty confident in saying we can be on Thursday at 8:15 next week, and it shouldn't affect who watches. Yeah. Gonna go Colts because I have to pick who I think actually will win the game, but I want the Jets to somehow win, but I think the Colts are going to win the game.
Yeah, Indy. Carson Wentz hasn't been playing bad, actually.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
I don't think that the Jets could win this game if Nick Sirianni was calling plays for the Colts. I'm going to Colts.
That's cold.
Gotta go with cold.
That's cold. Dang.
Cold-blooded.
That's real cold-blooded. That's about the same thing as saying, put the 5 fingers in his face.
It's a virtual slap right there.
That really is. Wow. You really disrespected the Jets on that one. Wow.
Man, you know what it is, man. So Cliff, you have your own show where people can come check you out, right?
I'm on the Gauntlet from time to time. If you check that out, it's on Tuesdays at 10.
Yes, sir.
Okay, definitely. And Zach, what about you? You have anywhere people check you out, or are you just an average fan?
Gotcha. I would say I'm an average fan yet discovered. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
No.
After this appearance here, man, people gonna be beating down the door trying to get you to come be a part of their stuff, man. So
yes, sir.
Looking forward to your newfound fame.
Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure anyway having me.
Well, appreciate you guys being on
thank you.
tonight. We'll see everybody next week. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner. And
And then
come
like on
back
the
next
video.
week, man. Yeah.
Most
Bring some
definitely.
friends with you. It's a
Yes,
party.
sir.
Absolutely.
All
Sure.
day.
I
Every
like
week.
it here. I like it here.
Absolutely.
The play call.
First.